Yo, what up guys, I'm back again, and today's video on our continued series of Road to the Olympia, I'm going to touch on somebody who potentially isn't even competing this year. And the only reason I want to do the video on this guy is not for clickbait or anything along those lines. It's mainly because, in my eyes, it's a question that everybody's asked and probably needs addressing, and I just want to give my opinion on it. That's all, just my opinion, put it across, find out what you guys are, and as a community, just have an open discussion about this athlete. Now, today's person I want to talk about is Phil Heath, as you've obviously guessed from the thumbnail and title. Now, it's not a case of can he beat Sean or can he beat anybody else. Is Phil Heath going to win another Mr. Olympia? Does he have it in the tank? Has he got it in his arsenal of skills that he's acquired over the years? Are we now seeing a new generation of bodybuilders coming through with the likes of Asher, Sando, and obviously a lot of the younger guys that are bringing a lot more to the table, putting a lot of pressure on what I'd technically class as senior bodybuilders, with the likes of Brandon Curry, Rolly Winklers, William Bonax, who have matured through this game. So if we look back on Phil's career to start with, and I'm not here to knock the guy, I'm not here to dispute his legacy that he has created, and it has been a fantastic legacy. Some of you might hate him, some of you love him. Regardless of how you feel, what is down on paper is facts for life. He has won the Mr. Olympia 7 times. So from that, what can we take and move forward with? Okay, so yes, he won it 7 times. Yes, in 2018, he went for the number 8, and I think he went with all good intentions and best intentions of winning. He still brought a really good package to the stage. It's undeniable, can't be argued or refuted. However, somebody else on the day did bring a better package. Now, Phil might argue that case, and Sean might argue that fact back and forth. Regardless of what it was, the outcome was the outcome. Sean won. So, going forward from that, obviously Phil has taken a step back. He did a lot more interviews post Mr. Olympia 2018. He touched on a lot of things, how Generation Iron technically villainized him in a documentary, and that didn't help his persona with the public. The public kind of cried back and said, Luke, you've not exactly been a great champ. You're not exactly a people person. And Phil would agree. I genuinely don't think he's that good of a people person, and I think there's a fine line between being a good person. I'm not saying he's a good person in general, I'm just saying there's a fine line with his personal life and his work life, and he keeps both separate. I do, however, feel that from his first win back in when was it, like 2011, he should have done, I genuinely think he should have done more press, more tours, and put himself out there a lot more. However, he didn't. Whatever the reason may be, like I said, just my opinion. And moving forward from that, I think obviously with the Generation Iron documentary against Kai Green was kind of seen as an underdog. And with any underdog, people see an underdog as a people's champ, because people like the smaller gaining power and victory over somebody that's reigned for a while. So people saw Phil's big reign over the Olympia and thought he needed to be dethroned, in quotations. And that was the hype around those few Olympias that Kai competed at. And it was good. It was good for the sport. The rivalry was brilliant. But obviously it played its part and took its toll on Phil, which is fine. I totally understand that. I understand where he was coming from. However, like I keep saying, moving forward from this, where does Phil progress from here? Now, we know this year there have been rumours that he's not competing at the Mr. Olympia. He's not really competing in any other shows. I've checked pretty much most forums and sites, I have not seen his name down. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, these athletes are given plenty of notice for application, because obviously they have to spend 2 to 3 months prepping diets, etc., as you're all well aware. So they need to know what shows they're going to compete at, how they're going to present themselves on those days with the criteria they need for obviously dieting down, etc. So he's not signed up for any shows. Is he going to compete at the Olympia? Let's go on the premise that he's not. So to me, this is a good sign for Phil. It's a very, very good sign. Okay, it might be a negative, and some people can look at it from the other side, like, okay, he took a loss, he took the L, look how he's dealing with it now, he's not turning up to the Mr. Olympia. Or is he looking at, on case merit, okay, Sean beat me. He beat me on this category, and this. I need to now take a step back from bodybuilding, reassess with Hani where we can improve, because obviously Sean brought a better physique. Now, I'm not saying Phil was at his best, but I think most athletes, even when they win, would still say there was slight room for improvements, and that always should be, because that's how we progress. So I'm hoping what's happening is him and Hani have taken a step back, they've reassessed and gone, right, I tell you what, let's take a year out. Let Sean have the limelight. He deserved it. He earned it. Let's look at what we can change, we can tweak, and we can bring something special to 2020. We can bring a fantastic show, fantastic conditioning. There will be more hype because he took the year out to reassess. He will be a better person for taking that year out. And as of present recording this, Phil has just landed in London doing a UK tour, which for me is fantastic. Obviously, being from the UK, it's brilliant anyway, but the fact that he's left the, in quotations, comfort, and obviously he's going to get paid and it's good for his brand, etc. But it's also, I think it's good for him. It's good for him to see his fans. I think it reignites more of the passion and fire in his belly for the sport. I think it's going to urge him on more, because obviously sitting at home and going to the gym day in, day out, he's a very self-motivated person. He doesn't need 1 million people or 1 million followers to spur him on to go to the gym. He's obviously got that drive and passion anyway. But I think meeting his fans more, doing more with them, connecting with them on a different level, whether it's taking pictures, chatting, discussing things, how he's motivated other people, I think that's going to make a big change for Phil. And Phil doesn't do this as often as you might think. Phil does obviously go around the world quite a lot, but he doesn't spend that much time doing these huge tours. Well, he hasn't in the last few years. Let me put it this way, into perspective. Over the last few years, it's kind of been a bit of a numbers game. Obviously, he was number one. If you want the number one contender in the world to come out and do a show or a speech or a seminar, you got to pay the price. And I think back then it was probably a numbers game. Obviously, he's number one. You know, you want me, you pay for me. I think now it's more of a humbling level for Phil. He can go out and obviously connect with his fans again. And I think as a human and as a person, he's going to progress more doing that. And then I genuinely think he's going to make, if he doesn't compete in 2019, this is on the premise that he doesn't, in 2020, I genuinely think he's going to come back and we're going to see something very, very special in the sport. He's either going to go out on the biggest high. It's going to be fantastic. There's going to be a huge build-up, because let's not forget Big Rami's out this year too. Two of the biggest names in bodybuilding. Regardless of if Sean's number one, I hate to say it, he's not the biggest name in bodybuilding. He's won the show once. So off the back of that, 2020 is the Mr. Olympia to look out for. 2019, however, is open field. It's open game. You take two big contenders out like Phil and Rami, and obviously Sean won it last year. We've all seen the conditioning that William Bonac and Brendan Curry have shown this year. Nathan Diasha has made some major improvements. We have like the likes of Luke Sandow. We have obviously Cedric. There's so many other people, and obviously the OG Dexter. Sorry, my bad. Should not have left him out. But it is literally open field. And obviously most shows is a case of, it's, how people look on the day. But 9 times out of 10, we can normally pick out the top 5 and be very, very close to getting that bang on perfect. But now, open field. So, what are your thoughts, guys? Honest opinions. Not if Phil can beat anybody else, right? Without bringing anybody else's name into it. Which is quite hard to do, but I know it's quite of a broad statement. But do you think Phil could ever be Mr. Olympia again? Can he reclaim the crown? Can he be king of the hill, back on top? Do you think 2020, and do you think I'm right that 2020 is the Olympia to look out for, not 2019? I'm not taking anything away from this year. However, when you've got 2 heavy hitters out, it does kind of lose a bit of the sparkle. So, honest thoughts. 2020, is that the year? Or is Phil dead in the water? What's your opinions, guys? Comment below. Let's have a discussion. I'm going to be replying to most of the comments whilst we do this series before the Olympia. And I just want to get a feel of how you guys feel towards Phil. Do you like Phil? Do you not like him? Do you think he's done a lot for the sport? Do you think this is a very humbling moment for Phil, that he has to take this time out and reassess? Not his life, but his obviously legacy and how to progress from here. Comment below, guys. I've been Williams Fitness. You've been you. Peace.